Hello, this is Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this podcast series, this is not a podcast series, Friday Feasts on Facebook. That's what this is today. I do these podcasts, Aging Like a Guru, that's on podbean.com, Aging Like a Guru.podbean.com. And so I get so excited, I just start doing that. So anyway, this is Rosie Kuhn, Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this is Friday Feasts on Facebook. And the intention of these is to provide a theme of the week, something that showed up for me as a continual theme, rather whether it's with myself and or with my clients, and how that kind of gets worked through over the week. So the intention of this particular Facebook theme is the idea that, am I a mistake? Am I wrong? Am I not enough? Am I unworthy? As in statements of truth versus I make mistakes. I do things that are not necessarily valuable to other people. So it's that difference between seeing ourselves as a mistake, seeing ourselves as unworthy, not enough, lost, as a significant statement of truth versus, hey, I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I have some places in my life where I'm not invincible, where I'm not where I'm vulnerable to finding myself other than perfect. So this thing came up because one of my clients said, hey, I want to allow myself to be myself. And another client who said, hey, I don't know where it's okay to be me. And she sent me this, I don't know if it came from Facebook. It said something about lining up all your X's and seeing the track of your mental illness, in a sense that we see ourselves not in the positive light very often, even though that's what we're told to do, right? Hang on a second. I got to let the dog in. I'll be right back. Hi, Richard. And the point of these stories is that, we hear these stories. It makes sense based on our history, and it's not necessarily true unless that's what we want to make true. So, for instance, I grew up and I was sixth out of 9 kids, and it seemed that I was pretty insignificant in terms of what other people needed in the family. The little ones needed their diapers changed. They needed to be taken care of. The older ones needed to be taken to dance class or football class. And I was kind of in the middle. So it's like I was pretty insignificant. So that was the story that I believed about myself, is I was insignificant. And so lo and behold, all of my relationships with men and some with women in terms of friendships, I put myself way, way down the list of priorities. And that's how I lived most of my life. You have to stop. This is Gracie right here. You can't see her. So that insignificance became not something that was just a descriptor. It was a descriptor of me. I am insignificant. So the other element of this story is that the other day I live on Orcas Island, and it's getting cold here, so I had to winterize, and I bought this wire heating tape to go on my hose, and it didn't seem to work. And I had a friend come out and look at it, and it was like, so the point is that I made it about me. First of all, I thought, oh, this was a mistake. Whatever I bought, I made a mistake. And then it was that went, like, I just went down into, that was a mistake. Then everything I did, the hose, the insulation, the trailer, everything became a mistake. My living on Orcas, my living in the nature, all of what I've been doing my whole life became a mistake. Everything I ever did in my life became a mistake. And then I could feel the angst and the resonance of this truth of I'm a mistake. And I could feel it, just feels so resonant. like a resonance of a truth that I've been living with forever. And I know that, so like a lot of my clients will say they're so afraid to make any statement of they're afraid to make any choices and decisions on their own because they're afraid they're going to be wrong. And their perspective is they've been wrong their whole life. And so they see themselves as wrong. Like I'm saying, I'm a mistake. They are wrong. And so they can't trust that they are going to make any decision that isn't wrong. And this isn't just one or two people. This is like consistently. We operate from these places and these stories that we've been told for a long time. And we've told ourselves for a long time. And the point is that's a story. And I watched myself, as I was saying, that I was a mistake in watching this go from this wire, which works, but didn't appear to be working. I made it a mistake, and then I made me a mistake. That whole downward slide, and we all do this. But I watched myself go through that process and hold that place of, okay, here's a part of me that believes she's a mistake. Past life traumas, cellular memory input, my ancestors' traumas, whatever that is that I hold in my being, that informs me that whatever I do, I'm a mistake. And however, at the same time, there's this part of me that knows that I'm not and continues to progress on the trajectory of my divine essential nature. So each of us, and you and me, each of us has this capacity to grow into our fullest potentiality. And so that means that we have to separate ourselves from the old stories of who we were, who we saw ourselves as, so that we can live in the potentiality of who you are. And one of the things I love about this work I do as a coach and a writer is that I really can see the brilliance in every person I work with. I know the brilliance in you, and I just know it's there. And my job is to be your thinking partner so you can see that, so that you can separate yourself out from the stories of what has occurred that has allowed you to consider yourself to be less than, to be insignificant, unworthy, unlovable, all of those things, so that you can go, wait, that's not who I am. That's a story that occurred because of circumstances and situations. And then it's like, well, if I'm not that, what am I? And if you look at the evidence of who you are, look at the evidence of the people who love you, look at the evidence of what you create in the world, look at the evidence of how you be in the world, then you can begin to actually see the significance of your presence in the world. Now, that's hard for most people to do. It shouldn't be hard, right? It shouldn't be hard, because we're in our spiritual practices or spiritual teachings or philosophies, and all of these memes on Facebook or wherever, it says, hey, you're special, you're significant, you're important, you're valuable, and do those mantras every day and you'll get it. But it's hard work to really allow the fullness of your being to come through. One of the things I want to share with you is 20 years ago, when I was training to be a coach with a fellow named Hans Phillips, who's in the Santa Cruz area. He's really awesome. He created this exercise, and it's the first exercise he would do with every single potential coach trainer and with each of his clients. The first question he would ask is, what are you afraid people are going to find out or decide about you? And gosh, it was like, wow, that's kind of an interesting question. So when I answered it, I said, I'm unworthy, unlovable. I'm afraid people are going to see me as not enough and not very smart, those kinds of things. So then he had a second question. The second question was, what do you do so people don't find out that you're insignificant, unworthy, unlovable? If you just played with those two questions, you're going to have some fascinating conversations with yourself, which is what this is all about. And hi, Brian and Sharon and Emily. Nice to see you guys. So what are you afraid people are going to find out or decide about you? what do you do so people don't find that out? And then it's like, what would need to shift so that you can see who you are without that? So in a sense, if I see myself as a mistake and not enough, what do? I always constantly prove how worthy I am of your whatever. I work really hard to make sure you see me as smart, that you need me. That was a big thing, is I made it so people needed me. That was my whole intention, because I felt unworthy, insignificant, and unlovable. So I make sure you need me. Okay. Well, who am I if I'm not making myself needed so that you don't see my flaws? Who am I? And that's the big question. So much of this reality exists only in our heads. And if we're willing to look at who we be in our daily life, how you feed yourself, how you clothe yourself, how you make choices in terms of friendships, you begin to see the potential of the way that you are and how you can be in the world, what you can bring to the world, what you do bring to the world. And so many of us mitigate, like we don't acknowledge, we minimize what we bring to the world. And that's what keeps us from really being able to grow ourselves into our fullest potential, into our essential nature. So it's been a big week for me to sit in this place of watching this experience and witnessing me go from I may have made a mistake to I am a mistake, and everything I've done my whole life is a mistake. I mean, I think you probably do that too in some ways. You have a different story, but it's not true. It is not true, at least in my circumstances. I know it's not true for you, regardless of what you think. So the ability then to say, well, who am I? What shows up when I show up into a room? Our essential nature, your essential self always is everywhere. And when you walk into a room, people see your essence. They don't see your mistakes. They don't see your flaws, your aging, wrinkles, or gray hair. They don't see that. They see your essence, the light, the delight of you. And when you can see your essence, then you begin to grow that. When you experience it, just to say, who am I when I'm not in my story of not enough? So I had a really beautiful conversation with my friend Carmela Granado today. She was part of my coaching training program a long time ago, and then she facilitated with me and was a support person, and we've been great friends and doing retreats together and things. And she was telling me about her a workshop that she was facilitating in Budapest a couple weeks ago, and what that was like. And I was sharing some of what I had been doing in retreats, and we were talking about this place of what we see of ourselves in each other, of this gift to be present and open and loving and witnessing people and acknowledging their brilliance. And I mean the brilliance, not just smart, but the brilliance of their intelligence and their wisdom, and the courage that it takes to show up every day as you. So we were talking about this, and in that conversation, I was able to remember this me, and not the me that's a mistake. I was able to go, oh yeah, this is me too. There's a part of me that believes she's a mistake, and we're working on that. I'm working with her in that, my heart. And this is me, the me that can show up and maybe make silliness with my life, maybe bring wisdom to the world, maybe whatever, but this is me, and my ability to be the expression of me, whatever that means, is for me the gift. And that's kind of why I do these things with you on Facebook, is to say, okay, I'm going to practice being me and see what shows up, and not in terms of see what shows up as what's the outcome of this. Are there people going to watch my listen to my podcast? Are they going to buy my books? Are they going to hire me to coach? None of that matters. What's going to show up when I show up? What qualities are going to be present when I'm present with you? That's my practice. That's why I do these Friday feasts. And hopefully, I mean, hopefully the intention is that something valuable may show up for you too, that you begin to acknowledge, oh yeah, that's that story I tell about myself being not enough in whatever terminology. And I'm not that. I'm so much more. You are so much more. So this is holiday weekend, Thanksgiving weekend. I hope you have a great weekend with people that you love and who love you. And if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear them. If you'd like to share this with people, I would love that too. You can share it. If you want to see more of what I do, my website is theparadigmshifts.com. Uh, and you can reach me at Rosie at theparadigmshifts.com. All right, big hugs to you. Be kind. Oh, that was the last thing I wanted to say. When people say, I don't know where to start this work, here's 3 things to start. 1, be kind. Practice kindness just as an experience, as an experiment, to be kind in ways, perhaps even what the Sufi people call, Sufis call secret charities. Be kind and see what shows up. And you don't even have to tell people what you're doing. Just be kind for the sake of that as a practice. See what shows up in yourself. And the other thing is, if you see yourself or hear yourself speaking negative thoughts, attend to it with grace and compassion. And if it's a thought that just is a judgment about somebody else, just see if you can stop it. See if you can just say, stop. I'm not thinking negative thoughts right now. I'm going to think happy thoughts. And see what that brings to you. And I forget the third thing I was going to say. Let's see. Let me think. Let me see. I'll tell you really quick in my notes. The third thing. I don't have it. Anyway, you'll hear it again sometime. All right. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to other people, and just have fun today. And know that you're blessed because you're you. All right. Bye for now.